70 unprocessed absentee ballots. Clerk's office personnel then found a second set of ballots. When they began reconciling voter participation, they found 2 sealed absentee carrier envelopes containing over 100 unprocessed absentee ballots. All affected voters will be notified and sent an apology letter. The city of Madison says the number of uncounted absentee ballots was not enough to affect the outcome of any race or referendum on the ballot. A bus driver is in custody after a deadly crash last night. It happened around 10:30 near 47th and Villard. Police say 2 men were working on a vehicle on the north side of the street when a Milwaukee County Transit System bus hit them. A 79-year-old died at the scene. A 37-year-old is in the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Police say the vehicle was parked legally. The 51-year-old bus driver stayed on the scene and was taken into custody. A young child injured by gunfire on Christmas morning. It happened before 6 a.m. near 35th and Call. A 6-year-old was taken to the hospital for serious injuries. Milwaukee police are still investigating the circumstances leading up to the shooting. Crews have recovered the flight data recorder from the deadly plane crash Christmas Day in Kazakhstan. Here's more from ABC's Perry Russum.
Video taken from the ground shows the Azerbaijan Airlines flight in its final moments in the sky. The plane falling and rising erratically, at one point appearing to aim straight toward the ground before leveling off. About a minute later, the plane starting its final descent before crashing into a ball of fire, killing dozens. Rescue teams racing to the scene searching for survivors. More than 24 people found alive. Some pulled from the plane's tail section that landed upside down. Some able to limp away from the wreckage.
A U.S. official tells ABC News early indications suggest a Russian anti-aircraft system may have struck the jet. Time for some news about your money and the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. The Dow is up 8.41, S&P 500 is down 3.17, and the NASDAQ is down 10.94. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Siding Unlimited, WTMJ News Time is 1:03.
So how do you underpromise and still get the job? We believe in our hearts we're going to do great work for you. We're just really careful about making unrealistic promises. At Semper Fi, we refuse to set the bar higher than we can jump. But be assured, that's the goal, to do all we can to jump as high as possible to try to exceed your expectations. We're looking to break records. That's how you win over customers, get really great referrals, and build a great business. When you're making a decision to hire an exterior remodeling company, character, integrity, and the feeling that the people you're about to hire are truly eager to show you how good they are should stand at the top of your list. This is Brad Youngluth with Semper Fi Roofing and Exteriors, your local, veteran-owned and operated exterior remodeling company. For your new roof, siding, window and door installation, or masonry work, you can count on Semper Fi to keep you safe, warm, and dry.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry. Semper Fi.
Welcome back to Ask Hassellus.
If you could spend 1 month anywhere, where would you go?
Easy. I'd go to bed. Specifically, a new Tempur-Pedic from Hassellus Mattress.
Why?
Because I can take 60 months to pay for it. Through Monday, get 60 months interest-free financing on select Tempur-Pedic mattresses, plus a $300 MasterCard gift card.
Hang on.
What are you doing?
Searching for a travel agent to book a month-long vacation at Hassellus Mattress.
Find an employee-free showroom near you or shop online at hassellus.com.
For over a century, local radio has evolved with the needs of the community. From politics to pop culture, we keep you informed, bringing you the most relevant news, online, on air, and on the go. You have trusted us with your news, sports, weather, and entertainment. Trust us to keep moving with you. Text radio to 52886 and tell Congress local broadcasting is here to stay.
Time for a WTMJ sports update from the Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all sports desk. The Packers hope to finish the regular season strong. The team squares off against Sam Darnold and the Vikings from Minneapolis Sunday afternoon. Green Bay is coming off a shutout win over the Saints, where they clinched a playoff spot with the victory. Green Bay is third in the NFC North at 11-4. The Bucs return from the Christmas break tonight. The team tips off against the Nets from Fiserv. The Bucs have won back-to-back games and improved to 16-12. College basketball, Milwaukee hosts IU Indianapolis Sunday afternoon. Number 8 Marquette visits Providence on New Year's Eve. Wisconsin hosts Iowa on January 3rd. Taking a look at the roads with your Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver traffic. All clear on the roads this afternoon. No incidents, no delays.
Traffic is sponsored by Annex Wealth Management. It's time to know the difference, and Annex Wealth Management is ready to help with investment, retirement, tax, and estate planning as a fee-only fiduciary partner. AnnexWealth.com. Click the Get Started button.
And here's the WTMJ 5-day forecast. We do have a dense fog advisory in effect for most of southeast Wisconsin. That expires at 3 p.m. today. Also some drizzle and possibly freezing drizzle to the northwest. Cloudy skies, a high of 43. Tonight, still cloudy and a bit of drizzle and still foggy, a low of 40. On Friday, we'll see some light rain, a high of 47. Saturday, slight chance for showers, very mild, a high of 50. On Sunday, mostly cloudy skies, a high of 46. And on Monday, mostly cloudy, a high of 44. Right now in Milwaukee, it's 42 degrees. I'm Jessica Gatso, Siding Unlimited. WTMJ News Time is 1:07.
65,498 square miles. We've got a lot to cover, so let's get to it. This is Spanning the State, and here are your hosts, Kristen Bry and Brian Noonan.
Good afternoon. We are here. Yeah, I will say the roads getting in today were very empty. So I'm hoping lots of people are still being able to enjoy a relaxing week. Maybe working, maybe not working, but we are here live. Rhea, how are you doing today?
You know, I'm hanging in there.
You sound like one of the poor people who maybe is a little sick over Christmas. There's a lot going around.
There's a lot of people sick here.
There's a lot of norovirus. There's a lot of chest colds. So if you are someone who has dodged it like I have, do whatever you got to do. Wash your hands, wear a mask, social distance, all those things. Well, we have a pretty fun, easy show coming up, as we get close to the end of 2024, trying to take advantage of some of the really wide-ranging variety of interviews we got to do over the year. And so I know Brian and I already have a great end-of-year episode coming up from you next week on New Year's Day. But most of today's shows also is going to be some of the interviews that I wanted to pick out to play again. But before we get to our first one, I just wanted to reflect a little bit about, because this was not my first Christmas as a mom. Last year, Frankie was about 3 months, but I was on maternity leave. I hadn't started this job yet. She was kind of a little potato. There wasn't as much magic that you could really lean into. But I would say, so this is the first year where there was a lot I could have done, and there's a lot I didn't do. And dealing with the absolute mom guilt of that. Because you think of the holiday labor that goes into trying to make Christmas special. And it's Christmas cards, it's baking cookies, it's decorating, it's going and taking advantage of the holiday events, it's managing time with family, it's seeing Santa, it's buying gifts, it's wrapping those gifts. And just how many of those things I did not check off this year. And even as simple as I was trying to think of something special to get her for a gift, because I knew she was going to get a lot of toys, and this kid already has a lot of toys. Consumes a lot of our house. And so I was like, all right, well, if I'm going to get her something, I want to get her something that's, special. And I just came up short. And then the day came and left, and Mike had got her a doll that she was really excited about. She got another baby doll from his dad and her grandma, and she'll get more stuff this weekend from my parents. But it was just a reflection to all of the parents. I'll say, I think a lot of times it falls on moms, but I'll say parents, because I know I'm married to someone who does what he can to also make the holiday special. But just acknowledging everyone who puts in overtime in December to make the holidays really special for your family, for your kids. shout out to all the people who actually move that elf every single night and come up with creative ways to create that magic for your kids, and Chippy just not moving off the shelf and then is magically in a new spot and you didn't forget. Because it is a lot of work. And I think it's something that doesn't always go acknowledged. And I know it's a lot of work because it's a lot of work I knew I should have done and I didn't do it because there's a lot of other stuff going on during this time of year. And so just a big shout out and recognition to all the parents who do so much during this time, because you only get so much time and so many Christmases with your kids when they're little. And so if you were one of those people who got it all done, I salute you. All right. Well, when we come back, like I said, we're going to play a lot of some of the hits from this year. And I think it goes without saying that one of the hits for Wisconsin this year was the fact that we were in the starring role of Top Chef on Bravo this year. I think it was a show that featured Wisconsin so heavily and painted us in such a good light. And one of the fun parts of that show, being in Wisconsin, was that we got to see sometimes a lot of places that we recognized, and for some of us, some people that we recognized. And so when we come back, I'm going to air my conversation with my friends who own the Harvey House in Madison. So stay with us on Spanning the State.
The Upswing is your place for commerce and community.
Are you seeing the customers expect maybe a different brand type in Green Bay than they do in Milwaukee?
Yeah, I think so.
Hosted by Jeff Sherman.
A little bit mid-tier price point people tend to gravitate towards in Green Bay. Of course, you have the high-end shopper up there, too. Definitely more towards the casual side of things.
Weekdays from 10 to 11 on WTMJ. Presented by Horicon Bank, the natural choice for all your banking needs.
New Year's resolution? Finally do something about that old garage door? Vince Vitrano for Lifetime Door Company. Time to give the biggest door to your home the look, style, and function it demands. Our holiday guests, first thing they say when they walk in, wow, that new garage door looks really nice. Lifetime also installed a new opener. So quiet, LED lights, camera equipped. You can even run it from an app on your phone. To help fit your budget through January, tell them Vinny sent you. They'll knock 5% off the total purchase on all service and installation. Get started at lifetimedoor.net.
Here it is, just before the holidays. You're sitting around trying to figure out a perfect last-minute gift that you can order quickly online. Well, how about tickets to the Greater Milwaukee Auto Show in February? Buy a single ticket for a friend, a pair of tickets for date night, or buy a family 4-pack and take everybody all at a discount price of just $11 each. They can see all the latest vehicles, including cars, trucks, and the latest EVs. For advanced tickets, go to autoshowmilwaukee.com. That's autoshowmilwaukee.com. Discount offer ends on December 24th.
The holiday season is a magical time of year to visit Lake Geneva. Embark on an enchanting Santa cruise on the lake. Take in a parade of trees and marvel at the world's tallest glass tree, built before your very eyes. Enjoy holiday shopping in a historic downtown. Chill out with festive food and libations in an igloo under the stars. Or find adventure on a zipline, ski hill, or snow-covered nature trail. Make Lake Geneva your place for holiday fun this year. Check out visitlakegeneva.com today for all the festive details.
It's the holiday season, and Santa Claus has got a toy.
Welcome back to Spanning the State. I am Kristen Bry. Brian is off this week enjoying the holiday. I hope you are enjoying your holiday. These are kind of those 2 days. Now until the end of the year, it kind of feels like no one knows what day it is. No one knows what time it is. I hope you are one of those people. And so, yeah, so we're still going to play some Christmas music. Rhea will sprinkle in some other stuff, I'm sure. But, I mean, because for some of us, like Mike and I, right after tomorrow's show, are driving up to Wisconsin Rapids to have our official Christmas with Mama Bry, who is very excited. She's very excited to see Frankie. But yes, all right. So welcome back to Spanning the State. We're going to play some of my favorite interviews from this year. And so the first one, I think if we covered Top Chef a lot across this station. We had Sandy Max coming on once a week to give us an update, so she would watch so you don't have to. I made it about halfway through the season. I made it basically to this episode when they featured supper clubs because I was very excited because my friends, Shayna and Joe Popich, who own Harvey House in Madison, were featured heavily in the supper club episode. And it was really fun to get to talk to them because they are two people who I've known Shayna's younger brother, Ben, since I was in middle school. So I've known Shayna for decades now. And their story of, Joe worked at French Laundry. I think they met at Gramercy Tavern after they both, she had just finished culinary school. So they have such a long history of working in restaurants. And it's so cool to see what they've built at Harvey House in Madison. If you ever get the chance to eat there, I highly recommend it. It is sublime. So here was our conversation back in April with Shayna and Joe Popich from Harvey House. And last night on Top Chef, it was a salute to supper clubs. And as I teased last week after we did our little roundup with Sandy, that I thought I had an idea if they were going to be in Madison and it was going to be supper clubs, that I may in fact be friends with two of the people who were going to be featured and guest host. And sure enough, I was right. Joe and Shayna Popich are the owners of Harvey House, which was on display last night in full, beautiful form. And they're with us right now.
Welcome,
thanks,
guys.
Kristen.
Welcome to the show, guys. And so the main event was held at your restaurant. Where were you guys last night to watch the show?
We both spoke with some folks in Madison. So I was at Garver Feed Mill and talked with Lindsay Christians, who's the food editor for the Cap Times paper here in Madison.
And then I did Monona Terrace with the Destination Madison team, and I did a little panel and spoke with Tori Miller, and that was fun.
And then he scooted away, and we watched it at Garver Feed Mill with a bunch of our team from Harvey House.
I just missed a little bit in the beginning, but
so you missed the part before you were on.
Well, then we watched it this morning, that little part. Yes.
Perfect. And then, as someone who does not like listening or watching themselves, did you cringe or did you love watching yourself on a big screen?
I don't think we cringed, but we weren't like, woohoo. It was kind of somewhere in between, I guess. It was fun. I mean, it was really fun to see our team and our restaurant. It's really a nice team building thing because everybody does work so hard and there's so many people that put a lot into, doing a restaurant together. So I think that part was probably the best part. And then, they've shot the restaurant beautifully and, did a really lovely job of highlighting, Madison and Wisconsin. And I think that was probably our favorite parts, I would say.
Yeah.
Was there anything that you went, oh, I wish we had polished that brass a little brighter, or, oh, if they had shot that, it would have looked great.
I thought it looked pretty good. I made sure that the team was on top of cleanliness and just like we always do. I mean,
Sure.
It's like one of the top of the list kind of
Sometimes
things.
seeing it on camera is a little different.
Yeah.
In person, it's like, oh, this place looks great. And I wasn't saying it wasn't that. I'm just saying, is there something that you wish they had put in, or something that you went, that didn't come out the way we wanted it?
No, I mean, I think if we watched it again, we could find something for sure. But, just having the first glance, I think we felt pretty happy with that they included us at all and how much they included the restaurant as well.
Yeah.
And how did it come about? How did you guys get involved? Did you have to apply or were you approached?
We did not apply and we were not necessarily approached. So there were, it was a long process. So about a year and a half ago, some of the Top Chef producers came to Harvey House to dine. And we do some research about our guests before they come in and try to know a little bit about the guests. And so we did know that there were people that were in food media that were coming to dine. And then we did a little bit deeper of a dive and did see that some of them had been involved with Top Chef. Of course, they did not say that. They were just sort of scouting around Wisconsin, and then they were scouting around Madison, and there were no decisions that were made for quite a while when they started coming to dine. And then probably a year ago, they let us know. Yeah. And then we had to sign a million NDAs and, all that. And it wasn't super clear that they were actually going to be using Harvey House until, even a little bit closer than that. And then they had decided Wisconsin, and, it's a long process for them. And there's lots of criteria, I'm sure, that they use to figure out what makes the most sense. It's a huge production team. So I think they were looking for, a lot of different things in the spaces that they were trying to find.
With that in mind, with the team being so big, how long did it take them to set up in Harvey House? And what logistically, because we watch it on TV and we go, oh, that must be beautiful. They come in with a couple of cameras and they shoot the restaurant. But in reality, it's not like that, is it?
No, they Saturday night, wrapping up our dinner, busy Saturday night dinner service, they started schlepping things in, and then it was every inch of the restaurant, and even our auxiliary places were taking up with production, TVs, cameras everywhere. They had some amazing like woodworkers, to build like things that blended in with the restaurant so that it looks like there's no, wires and lighting and everything hanging up everywhere. But it took them, and then they were there at 6 o'clock in the morning the next day. And
yeah, it's a long process for sure. And every inch of space is used. And like he was saying, so they came in like months before that to measure so that they could create like fake, columns to hide their camera equipment in and all that kind of stuff. So the production was definitely very impressive to see.
And how long does it take them to break it down then?
Not that long. It was much faster than I was expecting. So I think the putting it up is a lot longer than the breaking it down. But yeah, we shot all day. So, the diners came to the restaurant like around, noon time, I would say. And then we did not finish shooting until like 8 or 9 for the guests or for the judges table. And then they were out of there by around midnight.
Wow. And so watching the dishes that got made, do you feel like, were you surprised at either how good or how not good the food was from the chef testants?
I mean, it's hard. It's like a very different thing to cook in that way. So, I mean, I think we were impressed that they were, able to do that in a new space with new equipment and all that. So, I mean, I think like it's different to judge food in this sort of setting, I would say, than it is to judge it like at a restaurant when you like test the recipe, then you have people taste it, then you cost it out, then you test it again. And, it's a very different process. So I think it was kind of a different set of criteria in our minds, I would say. But it was super fun to see what they came up with. And I think they did a really good job with, with what is it? The game, the
parameters.
The challenge. Yes, the challenge.
Because that was what everyone ran into.
It seems the supper club challenge.
Right, the supper club challenge.
Was also the budget. Because as far as running into like only having $1,000 between the whole team, and how do you decide what do you actually splurge on and not splurge on? And so did it make either of you think that you could be a chef testant and nail it? Or was it a little humbling as far as like, oh, these are really hard challenges that they have to do?
I definitely did not feel like I would want to or would be able to do it. So no.
I mean, I could do it.
Why did I know?
Nice.
I was like, I was going to ask this question. I feel like Joe's going to be like, I'd nail this thing.
No, but I mean, he's been cooking for 30 years. So I feel like it's a different thing. And many of those cooks are like, they're 5 years in or 10 years in even. And
and I know that Whole Foods like the back of my hand.
Right. It'd be different in that way too. Yes.
But now it's a new Whole Foods. So I don't know. That might get a little challenging.
And so Harvey House has now become, it's quickly become an establishment in Madison. But tell us more about the new place you guys have opened.
Yeah, we opened a place called Butterbird. Thanks, Kristen. And we opened it a couple months ago. It's in another old building. It's on a street called Regent Street, which is more of like a student-centered area, I would say. It's more neighborhoody than Harvey House, even though they're just like a 5 or 10 minute, amount of time away from each other. It is fried chicken and rotisserie chicken and like cocktails on draft. It's a much more sort of casual concept. We have a big backyard that will open up in a couple weeks. We just started brunch. It's open for like, a different kind of hours. So like on Fridays, we're open from 11 on. So people can kind of like choose their own adventure a little bit more with the space, I would say. Come on in for like a little snack in the afternoon or a full dinner with your family. There's no reservations. It's counter service. So the style is, a little bit like, you can come in with a group of 10 and no problem, that kind of thing. But yeah, it's fun food. Our kids love it. Our kids do not love coming to Harvey House because we're always telling them to like be quiet or sit down or, that kind of stuff. And at Butterbird, we encourage them to run around. There's a claw machine and pull tabs and a photo booth, and we try to sort of have fun with the concept and tap into, a really different style.
Well, I know my Frankie, we both have Francis's.
Oh, very nice.
Theirs is a little older than ours. But my Frankie really liked it. She got her chicken stuffed animal, not the food. She is not old enough for the food yet, but I'm sure she'll love it someday. And I know all of us in Southeast Wisconsin can't wait for you guys to open something in Milwaukee eventually. Fingers crossed. And so thank you so much. It was so fun to watch. That was a conversation from earlier this year. Frankie actually can have chicken now, so that shows you how old this interview was. So that was Shayna and Joe Poppich, who are the culinary power couple in Madison, and they're the owners of the Harvey House, which was featured in one of the episodes of Top Chef earlier this year. And fun fact about Butterbird, which is also excellent. Like they said, it is a great stop. It's not as fancy as Harvey House, and it's also where I had my 20th high school reunion this summer. So that was very fun. So I really loved being able to talk to them. It's one of the fun things about this show is getting to feature people and places from all over the state. And so when we come back, we're going to break for bottom of the hour news. But when we come back, another Madison story of a man who left his mark on the UW Madison Marching Band. So stay with us on this review of 2024 on Spanning the State.
'Tis the season of giving.
Santa's coming to town.
And since we already got a gift for the Nets,
The Bucks with the victory over the Brooklyn Nets.
we feel no shame in re-gifting.
Same, but different. But still same.
It's the Bucks hosting the Nets at Fiserv Forum.
He'll tee one up from three, and he drains another
Our
one.
Bucks Radio Game Day coverage starts tonight at 6:30. We are the home of the Bucks. WTMJ.
Hey, Wisconsin, Jim Bob Morse here. Get ready to break out the Bandito with El Bandito Yankee, the official tequila of game day. 100% blue Weber agave, award-winning, all-natural, additive-free, and the smoothest tequila Milwaukee, Madison, and Titletown has ever tasted. Get yours today at La Pina on 3rd Street or your favorite local store. Remember, you always win with the undefeated flavor of El Bandito Yankee tequila. And for events, recipes, and places for purchase, go to elbanditoyankee.com.
Hey, if you did not have your company holiday party in December, have it in January at the historic Fox and Hound Supper Club. Half your employees' dinners are free. WTMJ's John Mercure here. I know how crazy December can be, and you know how valuable your loyal, productive employees are. Show your appreciation with a world-class dinner at the Fox and Hounds. With the buy one dinner, get one free offer, half your employees' dinners are free. Whether you have 15 employees or 150, half are free, saving your company hundreds of dollars. The holiday decorations are still up, and they are spectacular. I love it. The 7 wood-burning fireplaces will keep your employees warm and cozy. It's fantastic. The Fox and Hounds, right there off Highway 167, 2 miles east of the famous Holy Hill Shrine. It is a gem. Book your company holiday party in January at the Fox and Hounds. Half your employee dinners are free, and they are going to love it. It's my favorite place. Reserve today. foxandhoundsrestaurant.com.
Are the changing seasons making you crave a getaway? Let Fox World Travel help you plan for the perfect all-inclusive resort or cruise vacation to escape the cold. We've got special deals with Apple Vacations, Delta Vacations, Royal Caribbean, Princess Cruises, Celebrity Cruises, and more. Whether you prefer to book online or with a travel advisor, Fox World Travel has your back. Visit foxworldtravel.com to book online or call 866-GO-FOX-GO today. That's 866-GO-FOX-GO today.
Mele-Kalikimaka is the thing to say on a bright Hawaiian Christmas day.
I wish. Doesn't the sun sound good right now? Welcome back to Spanning the State. I am Kristen Bry. Brian is out this week. We are having a celebratory look back at the year, playing some of my favorite interviews from this year. I would love to hear from you. If you've been a longtime listener of Spanning the State this year, is there an interview or a story we did that left an impression on you? Give us a text, 855-616-1620. If anything stuck out to you as far as like, oh, I learned that thing on Spanning the State, or maybe there was a joke that either Brian or I said that really made you laugh out loud. 855-616-1620. News is next.
ABC News, I'm Chuck Sievertson. Aviation experts are saying that Russian air defense fire was likely responsible for the Azerbaijani plane crash yesterday in Kazakhstan. 38 people killed, dozens more survived. Investigators are examining the flight data recorder. ABC's Inez de la Cuetera.
A really miraculous thing that they were able to walk away from this unharmed, some of them. We spoke to an aviation expert who says that speaks to just how great the pilots did, that they they were able to land the plane in such a way that so many people were saved.
Another plane stowaway discovered on a Delta flight traveling from Seattle to Honolulu Christmas Eve, but reported today. The flight was taxiing for takeoff when it returned to the gate after a crew learned of an unticketed passenger on board. The flight was delayed more than 2 hours. Looks like the person didn't have a boarding pass. Holiday sales rose this year nearly 4% over last year, says MasterCard Spending Pulse. This is ABC News.
Siding Unlimited, WTMJ News Time 1:31. I'm Jessica Gatso. 2 teenagers are dead after a shooting on Christmas morning. An unknown suspect shot into a vehicle around 11:30 near 37th and West Scott Street. A 15-year-old and an 18-year-old inside the vehicle were injured. The 15-year-old died at the scene and the 18-year-old later died at the hospital. Alderperson Jocasta Zamaripa issued a statement this morning urging anyone with information on the shooting to contact Milwaukee police. 1 person is dead and 4 people hurt after a crash in Menominee Tuesday morning. It happened around 2:30 a.m. at Highway 12 and County Highway E. A 56-year-old man in an overturned car died at the scene. 4 people in an SUV were injured. A 30-year-old woman is facing life-threatening injuries. 2 passengers and the driver suffered non-life-threatening injuries. The Wisconsin State Patrol arrested the driver, 40-year-old Mark Sokolowski of Eau Claire, for homicide by intoxicated use of a vehicle. Powerboat racing is making its return to Sheboygan. The city will host the second set of races in the P1 Offshore Triple Crown this summer. Sheboygan expects the race to generate millions of dollars. Proceeds will benefit nonprofits that fund marine conservation, water safety, and youth educational programs. The race will run August 8th through August 10th. Time for news about your money. Here's the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. The Dow is down 3.62, S&P 500 is down 3.87, and the NASDAQ is down 9.33. Financial planning at every level, Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Taking a look at the roads with your Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver traffic. Mostly clear on the roads this afternoon, no delays and no major incidents. And taking a look at the WTMJ forecast. Today we still have that dense fog advisory in effect. That's for most of southeast Wisconsin until 3 o'clock. We've also got some drizzle today. Could be freezing drizzle to the northwest. Cloudy skies, a high of 43. Tonight, cloudy, drizzle, and still foggy, a low of 40. On Friday, we've got a chance for light rain, a high of 47. Saturday, a slight chance for a shower, very mild, a high of 50. Sunday, mostly cloudy skies, a high of 46. And on Monday, mostly cloudy, a high of 44. Right now in Milwaukee, it's 42 degrees. I'm Jessica Gatso, Siding Unlimited. WTMJ News Time is 1:34.
When we're out in your town, come say hi to us as we broadcast live from the Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin mobile studio.
Anytime you hear us when we're out on the road, you can find us live from our brand new mobile studio.
Whether it be Summerfest, EAA, Opening Day, Air and Water Show,
wherever we may be, you can see us on the radio, live from the Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin mobile studio.
We are Wisconsin's radio station.
Wisconsin's radio station.
We are Wisconsin's radio station.
We are Wisconsin's radio station.
WTMJ.
Welcome back to Ask Hasselus. I'm Weston. What's your question?
When you say Hasselus Mattress is employee-free, you don't really mean it, right?
Of course we mean it. At Hasselus, give the mattresses a try with no pushy sales guy.
Why no employees?
To save you money.
How much money?
Well, others sell a Beauty Sleep by Beauty Rest Elm Cove B Queen mattress for $16.50, but the everyday Hasselus price is just $8.42. We have way low pricing on Certa Perfect Sleeper and Sealy Posturepedic too.
Hey, that's pretty good.
Plus, through Monday, purchase a select Beauty Rest, Sealy Posturepedic, or Certa Perfect Sleeper in any size, and Hasselus will give you a free adjustable base.
That's even better.
Free next day delivery, free removal and setup of your new mattress, and free financing is available too.
And this is all because your showrooms are employee-free?
Yes, sir.
I like the way you do business.
Open 9 to 9. Get all the details and find an employee-free showroom near you at Hasselus.com. Hasselus, employee-free since 2014.
You're right, and I'll agree. It does sound too good to be true, but offering you affordable treatment that alleviates pain, which really does work, that we've seen in most cases insurance paid for in full, is a definite reality. It's pain relief, really. And these are FDA-approved treatments. They're safe and proven to reduce inflammation and alleviate pain. Yeah, you'll have to get a couple of shots, and I know that can scare people. but the needle is extremely small. And after giving shots like this hundreds of thousands of times, you'll see we make it very easy. You're going to feel the relief that our powerful pain relief agents give you. They're pain relief drugs that solve pain problems. And the way I feel is that Rejuvenex should be the first stop for anyone living with pain in shoulders, hips, elbows, and knees. At $65 per joint, per injection, it's probably the most affordable pain relief option available that actually works.
Alleviate your pain, rejuvenate your life.
Rejuvenex Google reviews will tell you more.
Ever use that
Welcome back to Spanning the State. I am Kristen Bry. Brian is out this week, but we are here to keep you company, whether you're on the road or at home baking right now, getting ready to maybe do Christmas Part 2, or is it the second or third night of Hanukkah? Did Hanukkah officially start yesterday or on Christmas Eve? Yesterday, so it's the second night of Hanukkah. Okay. Or if you're secular and atheist and not celebrating anything, just chilling, we're here for you too, man. All right. So for anyone who's listened to this show, you might remember that in our family, we are Badger fans. And my dad played basketball for the Badgers. So we are very much tried and true. Even though I graduated from a different school, I would say I still root for the Badgers more than any other college team. Certainly more than Marquette, despite being surrounded by Marquette people in Milwaukee. But that's why this interview was so fun. So we're playing back some interviews throughout today's show that really stuck out to me from this year. But for anyone who does or has been a Badger fan over the last 50-some years, you know Mike LeCrone, who retired as the director of bands at the University of Wisconsin in 2019, is a legend. He was there for 50 years, and he created the fifth quarter celebration that follows all home football games. He removed barriers for women to march in the band. He established regular appearances at Camp Randall by special needs high school musicians. He was an incredible person and left his impact, his mark on the school and the marching band. Absolutely. And so he teamed up with legendary Wisconsin journalist Doug Moe, and they co-authored the book that came out this year called Moments of Happiness, a Wisconsin band story. So we got a chance to talk to Doug Moe back in October. And so after we play this interview, though, there's a email that Doug, when I booked Doug to come on the show, he has a story about my dad that I never shared. So I'm going to share that on the other side of this conversation we had with Doug Moe. For people maybe, because we are in southeastern Wisconsin, we have a lot of Marquette fans here. But so for people who are only vaguely familiar with Mike LeCrone and his legacy, now that you've written a book with him, how would you summarize him and his career?
Oh, wow. Well, as you say, 50 years. You know, when Mike came in 1969 from Butler University, where he'd been for a decade, and he replaced Ray Dvorak, who was kind of a legend in his own right, and he was there 34 years, and Mike at the time said, there's no way someone could stay in a job 34 years, and of course now Mike was there for half a century. He's a showman, still is, by the way. He did a one-man show over here in Madison at Overture Center.
At 88? Isn't he 88 now? And he's doing a one-man show?
Yep. And yeah, so still really filled with energy. You know, I think, Kristen, one of the things that you guys were talking about a moment ago about how hard it is, that gets lost sometimes. Mike, he wanted the band members to have fun, but he pointed out that it's only fun if you do it well, and to do it well takes a lot of work. And the tales of him, you know, asking them to eat a rock, you know, which was one of the signature band sayings. You know, you don't have to be tough enough to chew nails. You have to be tough enough to eat a rock. So, you know, it was fun, but it's a lot of work, and Mike set that example.
So, Doug, the title "Moments of Happiness," where does that come from? Were there only, out of 50 years, just a couple of moments that that he was happy? What happened?
Well, during certain times with the football team, that might have been the case, but No, he actually coined that at the '94 Rose Bowl. At the end of the '93 season, which took Wisconsin to the Rose Bowl for the first time in 30 years. And one of Mike's big philosophies, and it's not new to him, and it's not particularly, I mean, you'll understand it, is that life's hard. That there's going to be sweat, tears, but there's going to be these moments that are really special, and you want to make sure that you appreciate it at the time and that you bank them and call on them when times do get hard. And the first time he really talked about that was with the band out in Pasadena in 94, 93, 94, that week leading up to the Rose Bowl, because that was a very special time. And it remains, I think, his favorite memory of his time of the 50 years as UW marching band director.
I remember my parents went to the Rose Bowl that year, and I remember my mom coming home and talking about getting to see the band practice ahead of the game, but also because that was the year we played Stanford, right? Isn't Stanford known for their terrible marching band?
I'm trying to remember. I don't. Well, no, they played Stanford in one of the later Rose Bowls.
Oh, it wasn't '94. Okay.
Yeah. But you're right. Stanford, was famous for their band's antics.
Yes.
And UW band took a lot of grief for that as well. Mike that week said the difference is we can be good when we want to be. Which he kind of regretted saying that. It got in the paper, but hey, it was true. You remember the Stanford band ran out a game against University of California and disrupted the final play.
Yep.
I
know that well because I went to that school, and so that is a storied tale. So at least coming back to the book, Doug, how did this come about? Did you two already know each other before the project?
We were friendly acquaintances, I guess you would say. I had done some newspaper and magazine stuff on Mike over decades, and then I did a book in 2018 with Tommy Thompson, Governor Thompson's autobiography. I was co-author on that. It's been said that getting two people together to write a book is like getting three people together to make a baby. So a lot can go wrong. And I think Mike appreciated that book went as well as it did. And so he reached out to me and said he'd been getting interest in a memoir and would I like to help him. And I'm really glad I said yes.
Doug, this is going to be almost an impossible question, but I have to ask it. As you're researching the book and you're talking to Mike, is there one story that maybe it's not your favorite, but it's the one that pops to mind first?
Boy, that is a tough one. I think probably because it's pretty funny. They always try to do new things at halftime. And the halftime show, of course, was the showcase of the band. Right. And I think the football team was not doing well. This was the late 80s, the Don Morton era, if people remember, at Camp Randall. And Mike decided he wanted to have a circus at halftime. He had done some work with Zor Shriners, and, so they arranged with Baraboo Circus Museum. They got, clowns and, I don't know, all kinds of things. And then sort of at the last minute, Mike decided we need an elephant. And people tried to talk him out of it, but they got an elephant. And
from what, like the zoo?
Well, I think they got it from Baraboo.
Oh, okay, I guess that makes more sense.
Yeah. And then they get the elephant, and Mike says, well, if we're going to have an elephant, I've got to ride it out. So sure enough, at that halftime of that game, the band is out there performing, and they got all the circus stuff going, and then here comes Mike. The elephant's name was Molly. He hasn't forgotten it in 35 years or however long it's been. And Molly does just what she's supposed to do. She goes out to the 50-yard line, and everybody goes crazy applauding. And then all of a sudden, Molly did what elephants and other animals will sometimes do, of giant proportion right on the 50-yard line.
Oh.
And the Badgers, they had to bring out hoses, and the Badgers ended up being penalized 5 yards for delay of game because the third quarter started, late.
I'm sure. Was Barry that is our conversation with Doug Moe earlier this year in October. The book is called Moments of Happiness, a Wisconsin Band Story, and he co-authored it with Mike LaCrone, famous 50-year leader of the University of Wisconsin-Madison Band. And quickly, I said that I was, when I first reached out to Doug, I obviously knew the name when I reached out to him to come on the show and talk about the book. And I think you know my dad, Pete Bry. And he emailed back, he goes, I have a long-standing bet with your dad. Back in the 90s, he bet me that someday I would join the Madison Club. And so we bet a case of Heineken. And it was only about a couple days later I realized, as long as I live, I can never win that bet because there was no time frame on it. So that was our conversation with Doug Moe. When we come back, we will have more of some of my favorite conversations on Spanning the State in 2024.
Hurry into Shopco Optical before your vision benefits expire. Vince Vitrano here. Book your eye exam and purchase frames, contact lenses, and more from a professional team that provides quality eye care, comprehensive and personalized to you. With an expansive network of insurance providers, Shopco Optical will walk you through all of your options. You'll maximize your vision benefits and FSA dollars before the end of the year. Call Shopco Optical or visit shopco.com to schedule your visit today.
I've always believed that great service makes all the difference. At Waterstone Bank, it's more than just banking. It's personal. When I needed help choosing an account, my banker took the time to understand my needs and guided me through my options. Thanks to her advice, I can watch my money grow, knowing it's secure.
Welcome to your Waterstone Bank, where community and personal service come together. Member FDIC.
The next time you're due for service, visit richlands.com to schedule an appointment at any of our 5 conveniently located facilities.
All AAA approved and all staffed by ASE certified technicians ready to serve you.
Richlands.
Hey, psst, check this out. There's free pizza today at the famous Mind Chef restaurant in Hartford. WTMJ's John Mercure. It is the best Thursday dining value anywhere. When you buy one pizza today, you get a second pizza free. Seriously, it is free. Buy one, get one free. Buy 5 pizzas, get 5 free. Hey, if you buy 10 pizzas, you get 10 free pizzas. Bring in pizza for your holiday office or company party. Half those pizzas are free, saving your company a lot of money. Coaches, bring in your team for free pizza today at the Mine Shaft. It's super affordable team bonding. Your players will love that world-class game room. The Wednesday and Friday fish fry is all you can eat, just $7.99. That's a crazy low price. Happy hour is 2 till 5 with half-price beers, cocktails, and appetizers. The Mine Shaft in beautiful downtown Hartford and in Oshkosh. The holiday decorations are beautiful. It's festive. It's fun. It's the Mine Shaft. Don't cook and clean. Walk into the Mine Shaft. Enjoy your free Thursday pizza, mineshaft.restaurant.com.
By now, you've probably figured out what's most important to us at Semper Fi is our reputation. Building a great character-driven remodeling company is actually quite easy. It's just the first 20 years that are a bit challenging. Great companies are collections of great people, and we have great people. They're the ones that helped us build our reputation, but they only come after you've built something they want to be part of. We don't necessarily have to look for good people. They come to us. And that's what you want when you hire an exterior remodeling company. Someone who's going to stand behind their work, and a company that is truly proud of their people. And it's because they do great work. And when you're ready, we'll do great work for you too. This is Brad Youngluth with Semper Fi Roofing and Exteriors, your local, veteran-owned and operated exterior remodeling company. For your new roof, siding, window and door installation, or masonry work, you can count on Semper Fi to keep you safe, warm, and dry.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry, Semper Fi. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Good tidings we bring.
Welcome back to
you
Spanning
and
the
your
State.
kin.
I am Kristen Bry here, keeping you company on this December 26th. We are playing some interviews from the year. I don't think we have enough time to play the next one before we have to break again for the top of the hour news. So I thought I'd bring some news you can use. I was perusing some articles this morning, and one of the things, as I said, I started off the show kind of talking about all the unseen labor that goes into making Christmas special. There's also a lot of stuff that accumulates and a lot of stuff that ends up getting thrown out. And so, as you are cleaning up and figuring out what to do with the wrapping paper, with your Christmas tree, I thought I'd go over some things to keep in mind. First and foremost, is gift wrapping recyclable? The short answer, probably not, unfortunately. As much as you want to feel like a better person by putting the recycling paper in the recycling, putting the wrapping paper in the recycling, most of the gift wrapping paper on the market is non-recyclable. So putting it in the recycling bin can contaminate the rest of the load of things that you've put in the recycling bin. So that basically means that all the contents it's going to end up going to the landfill. So same goes for things like ribbon, holiday cards, and anything that glitters. Glitter, not recyclable. Did not know that. Do now. Obviously, then, if we talk about Christmas trees and how to get rid of your Christmas tree, most cities should collect them. I know Milwaukee collects them. I know Madison collects them. You should look up on your city website when the collections are, and you end up placing the tree on, the right-of-way area. But make sure all tree bags and ornaments and lights and other non-organic items are removed. It also has to be free of snow and ice. So you might have to dig them out in case it snows. You can also, sometimes there's city drop-off sites, so you can look that up to see if your area has a place where you can just take your tree there if it's not going to get picked up. And then wreaths and boughs and evergreen ropes, those go in the trash. So yeah, you can either do that or you can repurpose your tree for other home projects. I don't know. I think, I don't have a real fireplace. We have an electric fireplace, but I imagine some people could chop it up and use it for like firewood.
That's fancy.
Right? I don't know. But then if you have an artificial tree, obviously most people just pack that up and use it again next year. But if you're ever in the situation where you need a new Christmas tree, you can donate your artificial tree to local organizations or charities. There's a group called the Christmas Tree Project that also accepts tree and decoration donations to distribute to families in need around the world. So I thought that sounded really nice. And then finally, what to do with your old decorations. If you have unusable decorations or holiday lights, recycle them at a city drop-off location. So some Home Depot and Ace Hardware locations will take your faulty holiday lights and recycle them for you. So that's a good thing to keep in mind. If your decorations are in good working order, you can give them a new life by donating them to a local organization, a thrift store, or a hardware store. And there you go. Lots of stuff.
Lots of it.
Lots of stuff. That is, you look around, you're like, oh man, this is a lot of things just to throw away. But all right, when we come back, we will spin around the state. And then some of the interviews we're going to do next week, or next hour, we're going to take a trip back to the difference between a gun range and a gun education center. We're going to talk to our friend Brian Reisinger about his book, Land Rich, Cash Poor. And if we have time, we have an update about the competitive blind horseshoe thrower. She sent us an email this week, so I thought it would be, even though I wasn't here for that interview, then maybe we would revisit that conversation. So stick around on Spanning the State.
WTMJ's Vince Vitrano talking with Dr. Mike Nolte at Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Doc, a lot of people are hesitant to visit a surgeon for spine care.
The good news is that the vast majority of patients that I see and the majority of conditions that I can see can be successfully treated without surgery. And I don't want patients to think that just because you're seeing a spine surgeon means that you're going to be signing up for surgery. We talk about, in my clinic, kind of a plan A, a plan B, and a plan C.
Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin, there is a difference. orthowisconsin.com.
Do you love the simplicity and enduring quality of Scandinavian design? Then the Fjords factory-sponsored sale at Ken Michaels Furniture is for you. Inspired by tradition and built to last, Fjords brings the best of modern Norwegian design to your home. Save 20% on these ergonomic recliners and sofas engineered with comfort in mind. Available with manual or power options. Stop in today and save 20% on Ken Michaels Furniture on Capitol Drive in Brookfield, Highway 100 in Greenfield, or our downtown factory showroom. Get a better night's sleep and save money on a Milwaukee mattress. For over 70 years, our family has been making mattresses and selling them direct to your family. By cutting out distribution costs, you can save up to 50% and get a better night's sleep on a premium mattress. Go green with natural latex. Reduce tossing and turning at night by reducing pressure points on your body. This is one of our most popular mattresses. Stop in today and take a test rest at any of our Ken Michaels Furniture locations in Greenfield, Brookfield, or downtown.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down, get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
Get the beat of the Bucks straight from a fan favorite and Bucks legend.
Welcome to the fantastic voyage. Marcus Johnson, the captain of this vessel.
Tap into Your District with Marcus Johnson, a Bucks Plus audio production.
My first mate, Chris Johnson, the only father and son tandem.
Your weekly pulse on the Milwaukee Bucks and conversations with the biggest names in basketball. This week on the pod, Marcus and Chris are joined by Bucks broadcast legend Jim Paschke. Find Your District now on Bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, or wherever you get your podcast. WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
It's a bully that will not let up until you do something about it. And the worst part is that the bullying happens when you're at your most vulnerable. You might as well have your hands tied behind your back while that bully puts one hand over your mouth and pinches your nose with the other. He'll let up, let you catch your breath, and then he'll do it again. Sleep apnea is a bully. Not long ago, we heard our friend John tell you about how his bully was stopping his breathing in his sleep over 145 times an hour. Think about what that can do to your body's organs. It's no wonder that the snowball effects of long-term obstructive sleep apnea are heart disease, stroke, even depression and anxiety. But this problem is solvable, and we have solutions, and you'll be surprised at how simple they are.
To date, Advent has solved over 40,000 breathing triangle problems. It's time to put that bully in his place. Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment, because Advent knows. When you breathe well, you live better. Results may vary.
What's on your wrist, Ben?
A watch.
The other wrist.
Oh, I'm handcuffed to a briefcase containing secret plans.
Why?
We can't let these secret plans fall into the wrong hands.
What secret plans?
This briefcase contains the specifications for the mother of all penny mustard bedroom collections.
The colonial bedroom?
Quiet, Nicole.
It's no secret the colonial bedroom is gorgeous.
American made with solid wood and forever tight bed brackets.
And the drawer bottom's strong enough to stand on.
Will you please keep it down?
In Penny Mustard's 3-decade existence, there's never been a bedroom more carefully constructed than the Colonial Collection.
Precisely why these trade secrets need to stay under wraps.
Heck no. We need to tell the world about the Colonial Bedroom.
You'd make a terrible spy, Arvid.
The Colonial Bedroom, starting at just $248 a month with only 1 penny down and no interest till January of 2028 through January 12th at Penny Mustard.
Showrooms in Milwaukee and Chicago.
PennyMustard.com.
Penny Mustard Furnishing.
AccuNet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
Patrick and Monica initially chose a bank to get pre-approved and provide financing for the purchase of their first home. But they were getting a bad feeling when a week after their offer was accepted, the bank still hadn't locked in their rate, nor had the appraisal been ordered. Monica shared her concerns with a friend who happened to be a multi-time AccuNet client. That led to Monica connecting with one of our senior loan consultants the same day, and after gathering some information and reviewing options, we locked in their rate right then and there with loan costs $3,600 lower than what the bank had quoted. The appraisal was ordered right away too, and the loan closed on time just 3 weeks later. We also noticed an oversight in the contract that led to a $3,000 credit from the seller. You can get a generic pre-approval and average or worse service from a bank, or you can get the kind of fast service, advice, attention to detail, and savings that made Monica and Patrick Acunet's latest raving fans. All you got to do to get started is click on the blue button at Accunet.com. That's ACCUNET.com.
The place you want to go, Lynch McWanago.
Nobody sells for less than Lynch.
Breaking news as it happens. Stay up to date with your trusted and relevant source in news, sports, traffic, and weather. We are Wisconsin's radio station. News Radio 620, WTMJ, Milwaukee.
At 2:01, it's 43 degrees in Milwaukee. Today we have a dense fog advisory in effect for most of southeast Wisconsin that expires at 3 p.m. Also drizzle today, some freezing drizzle to the northwest. Cloudy skies, a high of 43. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, I'm Jessica Gatso. Unprocessed absentee ballots in Madison. The City of Madison's clerk's office discovered nearly 200 ballots from 3 wards were not counted in the 2024 election. When clerk's office personnel emptied out the tabulator bins, they found one sealed bag of nearly 70 unprocessed absentee ballots. Clerk's office personnel then found a second set of ballots when they began reconciling voter participation. They found 2 sealed absentee carrier envelopes containing over 100 unprocessed ballots. All affected voters will be notified and sent an apology letter. The City of Madison says the number of uncounted absentee ballots was not enough to affect the outcome of any race or referendum on the ballot. A man accused of attempting to assassinate President-elect Donald Trump in South Florida will not be tried until September 2025. Ryan Routh's trial will begin September 8th instead of the previously scheduled February 10th start date. He's pled not guilty. His attorneys say they need more time to mount their defense, and it's likely to center around an insanity defense. A man in Missouri has been indicted on federal hate crime charges. CBS News correspondent Jim Krasula has the details.
Federal prosecutors have charged Darrell Jaspering with making threats against the St. Louis office of the NAACP a year ago. The 62-year-old Warrenton, Missouri man allegedly wrote, quote, a racially charged message on the NAACP's internet contact page in December of last year. He's accused of threatening physical harm to the recipients.
The federal court document says Jaspering used racial slurs and threatened to use a dangerous weapon. More visitors are set to arrive in Milwaukee via cruise ship. The city has approved a $5 million in taxpayer dollars to help expand Port Milwaukee. It's part of a $17 million investment to accommodate larger Viking cruise ships with a new dock east of the Lake Express Ferry Terminal. A Port Milwaukee study says cruises generated more than $7 million in economic impact from 2022 through 2024. Work on the new dock starts in 2025. It's expected to be operational by 2026. If you felt sick during Christmas this year, chances are you weren't alone. Chief Health Policy Advisor for Milwaukee County, Dr. Ben Weston, tells WTMJ.
So we can start with the most fun. We have norovirus. So this is at a super high level. It's stomach flu. It has the nasty GI symptoms. It's extremely contagious. And so if somebody in your house gets it, everybody's pretty much going to get it. And so that is at really high levels. It's going around. And then you have rhinovirus, enterovirus. These are your common cold.
Dr. Weston recommends updated cold and flu shots and staying away from work when you're sick. Time for news about your money. Here's the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. The Dow is up 26.74. S&P 500 is up 2.80. NASDAQ up 24.79. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Siding Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 2:04.
Hi, folks. This is Hank Albert, owner of BBC Lighting. With colder weather in the forecast and no festivals to attend, our showroom is a year-round festival the whole family will enjoy. Read our reviews. Our store has it all, including the finest lighting and ceiling fans available, such as Visual Comfort, Hubbardton, Tech, and hundreds more at unbeatable prices. I guarantee it. If it's repairs or lampshades you need, we have all that too. There's also unique sports and historical items, neon lights, slot machines, and much more for sale. You'll find fun for the kids and our famous free popcorn. BBC is open Monday through Saturday, and located at 20th and St. Paul Avenue near Potawatomi Casino. Stay safe and healthy, my friends.
We've saved our clients over $19 million in real estate commission. I say this because that's a pretty big number. But at Century 21 Benefit Realty, it's really not about being a top volume agency. Over here, it's more about you. And at 1.9% commission and no more than $19,000 commission, for the listing side of your sale, no matter what size property you're selling, you will save substantially. This is Angela Calais with Century 21 Benefit Realty, benefit-realty.com, where you pay less for full service. Each office is independently owned and operated. First off, our 1.9% commission structure helps get their foot in the door, and that's why agents like working here. But what they really like is having the strongest marketing tools available, with the resources to help them sell homes at the highest prices to satisfy their clients. Century 21 Benefit Realty offers what agents like most, and that's to help them be successful. If you really want to believe in the business model that you're representing, give me a call. I'm Angela Calais with Century 21 Benefit Realty. Call me, and let's talk about your future. Each office is independently owned and operated.
Time for a WTMJ sports update from the Gruber Law offices. One called That's All Sports Desk. The Packers hope to finish the regular season strong. The team squares off against Sam Darnold and the Vikings from Minneapolis Sunday afternoon. Green Bay is coming off a shutout win over the Saints, where they clinched a playoff spot with the victory. Green Bay is third in the NFC North at 11-4. The Bucs return from the Christmas break tonight. The team tips off against the Nets from Fiserv. The Bucs have won back-to-back games and improved to 16-12. College basketball, Milwaukee hosts IU Indianapolis Sunday afternoon. Number 8 Marquette visits Providence on New Year's Eve, and Wisconsin hosts Iowa on January 3rd. Taking a look at the roads with your Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver traffic. All clear on the roads, no major incidents, no delays, but do still keep an eye out for those foggy conditions and exercise some more caution.
Traffic is sponsored by the Amazing Mineshaft Restaurant in downtown Hartford.
Buy a $100 gift card from the Amazing Mineshaft Restaurant. Get a $20 gift card free. Boy, is that easy. Order online at mineshaftrestaurant.com.
And taking a look at the WTMJ forecast, we do still have that dense fog advisory that expires at 3 p.m. for most of southeast Wisconsin. Also some drizzle today, freezing drizzle to the northwest, cloudy skies, a high of 43. Tonight, cloudy, still some rain and foggy, a low of 40. On Friday, we've got light rain, a high of 47. Saturday, a slight chance for a shower, a high of 50. On Sunday, mostly cloudy, a high of 46. And on Monday, mostly cloudy, a high of 44. Right now in Milwaukee, it's 43 degrees. I'm Jessica Gatso, Siding Unlimited. WTMJ News Time is 2:08.
It's time to take a spin around Wisconsin and find stories you might have missed. Here's Spinning the State on Spanning the State with Kristen Bry and Brian Noonan.
Just kidding, it's just me. No, Brian. We'll be back on Monday. But we are holding down the fort here, and I was immediately reminded on the text thread, if you were still listening at the end of last hour, do not, I repeat, do not think that you can burn your Christmas tree in your fireplace. It is multiple reasons why I now have been texted and informed why you should not do that. But also I looked it up to verify. And one, the smoke is toxic. And so while fire pits create a smokeless flame, the amount of moisture in your Christmas tree will inevitably create smoke in your fire pit. Your tree probably isn't as dry as it seems. Christmas tree needles create sparks. So basically all around, don't do it. Forget I said anything. And thank you to the people who immediately were like, no, don't tell people to do that. So there you go. All right, let's see where we are going first on the wheel.
Milwaukee.
All right. Well, it's still the season of giving, and the Milwaukee County Zoo offers a week of free daytime admission starting today. So visit the zoo during Frosty Free Week to enjoy animals and nature. This is sponsored by Generac, and all guests receive free daytime admission starting today, December 26th, until December 30th. Regular parking, concession, and attraction rates do apply, and there is still regular admission rates to go to the Zoo Wild Lights Night event. But while you're at the zoo, during the free times, you can check out the fantastic forest in the U.S. Bank Gathering Place, where dozens of live, wonderful-smelling evergreen trees have been decorated with homemade animal theme ornaments by youth groups. And if you do want tickets to see the zoo's Wild Lights Night event, it looks pretty cool. Like if you like China lights, that's every year in the Botanical Gardens over in Greenfield. This looks really cool. So Wild Lights is presented by We Energies Foundation. And so during this festive season, the Milwaukee County Zoo will transform into an illuminated destination with hundreds of thousands of sparkling lights, even bigger and brighter than last year. So you can enjoy an enchanted evening under the stars with pathways and forested areas, specially adorned with twinkling lights and decorative displays. And the last day to do that is December 31st. So you still have a couple of days before that is gone. So there you go. So Frosty Free Week at the Milwaukee County Zoo. All right, let's see where we are headed next.
Summers.
All right, so I think this is actually kind of an interesting story and an issue that I had not known was an issue. So Summers is among more than 30 other municipalities that could get its own zip code if a bill recently passed in the U.S. House of Representatives is also passed in the U.S. Senate. So it's called House Resolution 8753, and it would require the U.S. Postal Service to designate a single unique zip code for a specified number of municipalities across the U.S., which includes Summers, along with Mount Pleasant and Caledonia in Racine County. So Summers Village Administrator Jason Peters said there have been issues with not having a specific zip code. There's basically higher insurance premiums for homes and vehicles, misdirection of mail, emergency response challenges, and confusion on where to vote, among other issues. He said, quote, for public safety, when people call, they've only ever looked at the address and it says Kenosha. Sometimes they don't realize they've actually been served by Summers Fire and Rescue. We had to change one of our street names because our poor residents, their packages kept going to Racine instead of Summers. So Peter said that the other significant part of having a zip code is just having your own unique identity. So back in 2021, Peter said a zip code boundary review was submitted for Summers to the post office, and they're supposed to get back to you within 60 days. They didn't get an answer for over 2 years, and they finally got an answer 3 years, because they got an answer this last fall, and they were denied. Once you're denied, you can't apply again for 10 years. So Peter said he found a lobbyist in Florida working with communities facing the same issue. And then based on that conversation, they started talking to a bunch of other communities across the country that are going through the same process and facing the same issues. So now there is this bill, and this group of different small municipality leaders meet quarterly to go over where they are, what they've been through, and what they're trying to get done to get their own zip codes. So now this bill has passed through the House, and now it must pass through the Senate. But Peters said the clock is ticking to get it approved before the end of this current congressional session. So he and others have been asking Senator Ron Johnson and Senator Baldwin for their support on the bill. So we will see. But that was a unique issue. I've never lived in a place that doesn't have a zip code. Seems like something that every place should have a zip code. There should be no unaccounted areas. So there you go. All right. Well, when we come back, we are still going to revisit some of the conversations we've had across this year. And I am not a gun owner, but I found this conversation with the range manager at Mission 94, speaking of the Kenosha Racine area. I found this conversation that we had back in October really interesting as far as who guns are for and gun education, and how gun ranges can be more than just a place where you go pew pew. So stick with us on Spanning the State.
While you rest on the weekends, we work for you. Wisconsin's Weekend Morning News with Libby Collins. the latest in news,
The Brewers and the Bucks have been closely watching this Valley Sports parent company because fans want to know how they're going to continue to watch these games.
entertainment,
Ryan Turek, Vice President of Feature Film Development for Blumhouse.
That movie really connected with audiences because it felt like it could happen to you.
and more every Sunday morning starting at 8 on WTMJ.
David Nason here, your trusted Fix-It Show guy, here to give you some essential home maintenance advice. If you're dealing with leaks, stains, cracks in your basement, it's time to call the experts I trust at Accurate Basement Repair. They've fixed many of our listeners' basements, and the results were fantastic. Dry, secure, and peace of mind restored. Don't let basement issues mess up your home. Trust Accurate Basement Repair to get the job done right. Call them today.
Thanks, David. Accurate Basement Repair. We're not just good, we're accurate.
During your career, investments piled up. From 401ks to brokerage accounts, it turned into quite a collection. At Annex Wealth Management, we believe every portfolio tells a story. We've analyzed thousands. Some reflect diligence and fortitude. Others, a mishmash of overlapping investments. When Annex reviews a portfolio, we spot what works, what might not, and then provide unbiased suggestions. Every portfolio tells a story. Let's work on yours. Investment, retirement, tax, and estate planning as a fee-only fiduciary. That's our story. Head to annexwealth.com.
The holiday season is a magical time of year to visit Lake Geneva. Embark on an enchanting Santa cruise on the lake. Take in a parade of trees and marvel at the world's tallest glass tree, built before your very eyes. Enjoy holiday shopping in a historic downtown. Chill out with festive food and libations in an igloo under the stars. Or find adventure on a zipline, ski hill, or snow-covered nature trail. Make Lake Geneva your place for holiday fun this year. Check out visitlakegeneva.com today for all the festive details.
Welcome back to Spanning the State. I am Kristen Bry, and we are having a casual day at the office, playing some of our favorite conversations that we've had this year. And we've really covered a lot of ground as far as policy to human interest. And even in this show alone, I feel like we're covering a lot of different stories. And so I forgot where I first read about Mission 94, but it is a firearms education center and gun range that opened this year, and it's in Kenosha. And you can see it from the freeway. And it's specifically nonpartisan. It is specifically promotes itself as an education center, despite also obviously being a gun range. And so we had a conversation with Christopher Meter, who is the Mission 94 Firearms Education Center range manager. And I really enjoyed it. I still have yet to go. I know that I said that I need to learn the guns that are in our house, I need to learn how to shoot them. And so we're going to go. But we have not actually gone yet. My first question out of the gate is, what is the difference, because you have a gun range, but so what is the difference of being a gun education center and your run-of-the-mill gun range?
Sure, I'd be happy to answer that. So the biggest thing that makes Mission 94 really stand out from any of our competitors or other operations is that we put education first and foremost. Retail, range, all of that is subsequent. It comes after our primary basic core mission of education. So a lot of other facilities in the United States, they will either base themselves primarily on range operations where people can come and train or participate in recreational shooting, or on retail operations where they can come and purchase firearms, optics, and things like that. But we are one of the very few places in America that solely focuses on education. And so our retail and our range components, as I said, they're just there to support the purpose of our educational mission.
Awesome.
So what was the evolution of this idea? Because it makes a lot of sense. I'm sure there's a lot of people who think, well, I've never shot a firearm, but how hard can it be?
Right. Yeah, it's the idea originally started from myself and my chief executive officer. We're both military history aficionados, hold degrees in history, and study military history very intricately. And so we were in conversation one day and discovered that a lot of collegiate academic level books and textbooks and things of that nature, that the authors knew things from the strategic level of maps, operations, air campaigns, and things like that, but they didn't even know which end of the rifle that a projectile came out of at the end of the day. And through long conversation, it turned into what if we created a facility where historians, professors, academic types could actually come and learn about firearms in an intellectual, scientific environment so that they could speak about them intelligently. And that idea over the past 9 years, from when Mission 94 was first conceived up until now, we're now operational for almost a month. That idea has expanded dramatically to now we're a facility where the general public can come and learn about the history of arms throughout American military conflict and other conflicts dating back to the American Revolution all the way to arms that are currently being used in conflicts in Eastern Europe, the Middle East, and places like that, everything in between. And then that also carries into our mission where we are an official partner of the Wisconsin-based United States Concealed Carry Association, and we offer their training and curriculums and things like concealed carry home defense and a wide array of other programming that they have that's just wonderful in creating and fostering the next generation of responsible gun owners.
So the available courses or curriculum ranges from like actual like history type courses, but also to gun training and like understanding how to own and operate whatever weapon you have.
Exactly. That's exactly it. So, with Mission 94, you can learn about World War II arms, for example, and how those were invented and operated and performed in the field. And at the same facility, you could also learn, what to do in the event of a violent home invasion happens, preparing yourself for situations like that. So again, training and education is really what we are all about.
Now, this may seem silly, Chris, but if somebody is like, well, I'm not ready to own a firearm yet, but these classes sound interesting to me, they could come and take the classes without ever going on the range and firing a gun, right?
Absolutely. Everything at Mission 94 is very oriented towards whatever the student's desires or the speed is that they want to go at. So if you just want to come in and learn in the classroom about the evolution, the history of these arms, or even things like home defense and programming like that, and you do not want to participate in the live fire version, you just want to pick up the educational classroom content, then yes, you are absolutely more than welcome to do that. As I said, we're a center of learning.
So is it a membership? Is it a pay per course? Or like how do you guys make money?
Sure. So the way that it works, we are open to the general public. So everybody is invited to come into Mission 94 during our normal business hours. You do not have to be a member to participate in any of the programming or even visit Mission 94. And so if you want to sign up for any of our classes, our historical offerings or our more modern offerings through USCCA, you're encouraged to do so. Now, we do have membership programs available, though, and those are very robust and contain things like free range time during the week, free classes. There are certain things where you can host events at Mission 94, and so a lot of that is offered in these very comprehensive kind of a la carte membership packages.
If I want to come in and I don't have a firearm, maybe I'm in the market for one, can I rent one? And if somebody comes in and just wants to rent a firearm, how does that work with your staff? I'm sure you're not just letting anybody who wanders in go, yeah, I want to go shoot this gun over in the range.
Right.
How would that work? Because like a guy like me, I enjoy being at the range. I would enjoy looking at different types of firearms to see what might suit me best. But how are you going to know that I'm not a lunatic?
So if you did want to come in and say you had never fired a firearm before, you wanted to learn and you wanted to operate that firearm, there's a vetting process that you have to go through with my range control officers that all are very heavily trained and qualified law enforcement, firefighter, and military backgrounds, every one of them. And so you're going to go through a vetting process with them and a few rounds of paperwork, which is the initial start. We watch for certain, things that may lead us to believe that you may not be a good candidate for renting a firearm. And in that situation that you just described, you would then also purchase 1 hour of instructor time. So you will be with a licensed certified instructor in that live fire training bay with that firearm while you were conducting that training. Now, if you showed up with your own firearm, or a group of friends or something like that.
Like if I came with the, like I was said at the
Exactly.
beginning,
And you wanted to rent one of our firearms, well, you already have your own firearms already, so it's of, little to no consequence to us if you wanted to rent one of our firearms for personal use.
Got it. Well, we only have about a minute left, but
Sure.
I wanted to get this in because it seems like a big important point of the mission statement of Mission 94 is that it's apolitical and nonpartisan. Why is that so important?
The biggest important thing with that is simply enough is the Constitution. The Second Amendment is a right that is bestowed upon all Americans, regardless of their political leanings. So anybody, regardless of what their political affiliation is entitled to that right to keep and bear arms as is entitled to them through the Second Amendment. And so we serve to foster an environment where you are not going to walk into a situation where, you're politically one way or the other, you're kind of a centrist, and all of a sudden you feel like, wow, now I'm overwhelmed with the politics of one side that traditionally has, been very dominant in the world of firearms, but now you're in a learning environment. You are in more of, we've been described as like, you feel like you're walking into a community college or a municipal building when you walk in. So this is a place where politics, you can leave them at the door and you can come in and learn about firearms with us. And if you leave and you want to be a bit more pro-firearm, that's great. If you leave and you're anti-firearm after you've gone through our education and training, then you can at least say that you tried and you experienced.
That was our conversation with Christopher Meter, who is the Mission 94 Firearms Education Center Range Manager. And like I said, still got to make it down there. Seems like a really interesting spot. All right, we will take a break and have more after this.
Creative Planning presents Rethink Your Money with John Hagenson, Saturday afternoon at 2. Tune in each week as John exposes industry myths for truth seekers looking to navigate their way to financial freedom. What he reveals may surprise you. To learn more about the show and how creative planning can help you build a custom financial plan and portfolio tailored to you and your goals, visit creativeplanning.com/radio. Don't settle for outdated advice. Your money deserves better, and so do you.
This holiday season, give the gift of a smile with Community Smiles Dental, a nonprofit dental clinic helping kids on state insurance in southeastern Wisconsin get the compassionate care they deserve. For just $55, you can cover a child's dental exam and care, a small price for a healthy smile and a stronger community. Donate to the Smiles for the Season campaign, sponsored by First Business Bank at communitysmiles.org. Everyone deserves a healthy smile. Make your gift today at communitysmiles.org.
Every day, Wisconsin's 600,000 family caregivers help their loved ones to continue living safely in their own homes. It's not easy. Each year, they spend an average of $7,000 out of their own pockets to provide this care. Wisconsin needs family caregivers, and they need more support. Tell your state lawmakers, Wisconsin family caregivers need a caregiver tax credit in 2025. Learn more at aarp.org/WI. That's aarp.org/WI. Paid for by AARP Wisconsin.
Call quality for the signature service you deserve. We get it right. We're a family business, taking care of families like yours. And you can trust our professional people to get it right. Call quality for the signature service you deserve. For the signature service you deserve. We get it right. We're a family business, taking care of families like yours. And you can trust our professional people to get it right. Call quality for the signature service you deserve. Call quality for the signature service you deserve.
Call Quality, now offering heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric.
This holiday season, discover the joy, peace, hope, and love of Christ on Christian Crusaders. I'm Pastor Tim Butker. Join me as we celebrate the heart of the season, the heart of God's love for us in Christ. Do you want to more fully understand the supernatural gifts God intended for you and I to enjoy in the sending of His Son into this world? Join me every Sunday at 6 a.m. on WTMJ for Christian Crusaders, Christ-centered, gospel-oriented, Bible-based.
Welcome back to Spanning the State. On the other side of the bottom of the hour news, we're going to revisit a conversation we had with my friend Brian Reisinger, who wrote a book. Well, he wrote a book before this year, but it came out this year, Land Rich, Cash Poor. So on the other side of the news, we're going to revisit that conversation because I really think Brian has his finger on the pulse of Wisconsin farmers, and I hope you go buy that book. All right, ABC News and local headlines are next.
ABC News, I'm Chuck Severson. A high-level Azerbaijan government source tells ABC News there is new evidence that the Azerbaijani Airlines plane yesterday may have been shot down by a Russian surface-to-air missile. Investigators examining the flight data recorder, ABC News national security and defense analyst Mick Mulroy.
It is very dangerous because of all this aerial combat operations. And now we can see that there is some undisciplined, potentially soldiers manning air defense systems in Russia that would shoot down an aircraft that was likely transpondering that they were a friendly civilian aircraft.
A new round of Israeli air attacks in Yemen today targeted the Houthi rebel-held capital and an airport, which the Israeli military says were being used to help smuggle Iranian weapons. Iran's foreign ministry condemning the strikes. New data shows holiday sales rose this year nearly 4% over last year, says MasterCard Spending Pulse. This is ABC News.
Citing Unlimited, WTMJ News Time is 2:31. I'm Jessica Gatso. A young child injured by gunfire on Christmas morning. It happened before 6 a.m. near 35th and Call. A 6-year-old was taken to the hospital for serious injuries. Milwaukee police are still investigating the circumstances leading up to that shooting. A tow truck operator is dead after a Christmas Eve hit-and-run in the village of Summit. 40-year-old Hussein Farhat of Yafo Towing in Chicago was loading a disabled vehicle on the eastbound shoulder of I-94 just east of Sawyer Road when a minivan struck him. He died on the way to the hospital. The driver fled the scene. A 39-year-old suspect later turned himself in. Waukesha County Sheriff's Office took the man into custody for hit-and-run causing death. Once the holidays are over, what can you do with that Christmas tree? The City of Milwaukee Christmas will collect and recycle real trees starting today until January 31st. Cut trees must be free from all decorations and not placed in a bag so they can be shredded and composted. Milwaukee residents need to contact the Department of Public Works to schedule their pickup before placing the tree on the curb. Look for more details on our website, WTMJ.com. Time for news about your money. Here's the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. The Dow is up 6.99. S&P 500 is up 2.4. The NASDAQ is up 27.52. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Taking a look at the roads with your Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver traffic. Keeping an eye on one incident on 94 eastbound, 2 miles beyond the ramp from Barker Road. Was seeing just some minor delays there. Looks like that car is pulled off to the right shoulder, but we were seeing just a couple of delays between Calhoun and Barker there. And taking a look at the WTMJ forecast. We still have that dense fog advisory that's about to expire here in most of southeast Wisconsin. Some drizzle and freezing drizzle today to the northwest. Cloudy skies, a high of 43. Tonight, cloudy, still some drizzle, and still foggy, a low of 40. On Friday, we could see some light rain towards the evening, a high of 47. Saturday, a slight chance for a shower. Very mild temperatures, a high of 50. On Sunday, mostly cloudy skies, a high of 46. And on Monday, mostly cloudy with a high of 44. Right now in Milwaukee, it's 43 degrees. I'm Jessica Gatso, Siding Unlimited. WTMJ News Time is 2:34.
We know what you're thinking, and all we can tell you is to drive careful.
Yep, Wisconsin roads are no joke this time of year, especially when you're driving on old, worn-out tires.
Schedule yourself a tire appointment with Richlands. We carry all sorts of tire brands, including Goodyear, Kelly, Continental, and General, to name a few.
And every tire we install automatically comes with free tire mounting, free lifetime tire rotation, free flat tire repairs, and free alignment inspections.
Not to mention free wheel corrosion cleaning, lifetime warranty spin balance, and prorated tire protection.
Let's just say, if you're driving around town, especially this time of year on old, worn-out tires, you're due for tire service.
Courtney's right. And remember, be safe, buckle up, and hey, always make sure you have good tread on your tires, because cold, wet, icy roads are no joke. I'm Brett Matchke with Richlands, and you're due for service.
Richlands Tire and Service, such a refreshing change.
Ben, I thought you were on vacation.
I am.
Okay.
I found the perfect vacation spot.
Where?
Here.
At Penny Mustard?
Specifically, the Miles sofa at Penny Mustard.
Did you say you're vacationing on a sofa?
It's not your run-of-the-mill sofa. The Miles sectional sofa is different.
Well, it is super comfy.
When you're fully ensconced in the luxurious embrace of the Miles sectional sofa, you ain't going anywhere anytime soon.
Perfect for relaxing after a hard day of work.
Or a fun day of play.
Built just the way you want it.
So you're really spending a week of vacation on the Miles sofa?
I'll send you a postcard.
Postcard?
Dear Arvid and Nicole, wish you were here.
Good grief.
P.S. Miles says hi.
The Miles sectional, starting at just $238 a month, with only 1 penny down and no interest till January of 2028 through January 12th at Penny Mustard.
Showrooms in Milwaukee and Chicago.
PennyMustard.com.
Better versions of what people want.
Penny Mustard Furnishing.
Deck those halls, trim those trees, raise up cups of Christmas cheer. I just need to catch my breath. Christmas by myself this year.
Welcome back to Spanning the State. I am Kristen Bry. What song is this, Rhea?
The Christmas wrapping? I don't know. I don't know. One of the worst Christmas songs to me, I think.
Christmas by myself this year? I don't know. I feel like maybe I've heard this one before. But
You never heard this one?
It feels like pretty upbeat for having Christmas by yourself.
It's like the main retail Christmas song, I feel like.
Is it? I don't know.
Wow.
Anyways. All right. Well, on this December 26th, Thursday, we are revisiting some of our favorite conversations from this year. And this next conversation was with my friend Brian Reisinger, who tried and true Wisconsin boy. He, in his Twitter profile, has the quote of like, "Thank God I'm a country boy." He was raised at a farm in Sauk County. He then, as I think in his own words, was not built necessarily to be a farmer. He was a journalist, and then he was a political strategist, and now works in comms. But his heart is very much in agriculture. And so he wrote this book called Land Rich, Cash Poor, My Family's Hope and the Untold History of the Disappearing American Farmer. And it came out in August, and we talked to him in August. And just to some of the reviews of the book, an anthem to the family farm in America, a beautiful book, you won't want to put it down, well worth reading for those who care about what we eat and where it comes from. So here is our conversation with Brian Reisinger. The overarching theme of your book is American farmers' fight for survival. And so when we talk about the plight of the American farmer, how would you describe it being all of America's plight? Like, what's at stake?
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate you putting it that way because, as you know, people in Wisconsin have seen this. Some of us have lived it directly. Many of us have observed it. But, you know, what are the stakes? They're actually as high as they come. What I found as I was looking into this and exploring my family's story and how it connects with what's going on in a bigger way in our economy is that the hollowing out of rural America is actually affecting every single American dinner table. There are ways that this issue are driving all kinds of issues, from the higher cost of food, which far outpaced the inflation that everyone is debating this election cycle, the security of our food supply chain, how we get food to the places and the choices that consumers have. And it also is an issue that's wrapped up in so many of our deepest challenges and divisions with our rural-urban divide, environmental issues, all kinds of issues. So when you look at what's happening in Wisconsin, Wisconsin exemplifies something that's happening all over the country, and it is something that affects everybody who eats in this country, not just people who live on farms.
And Brian, a lot of your book and a lot of your columns in the Journal Sentinel revolve around your family's farm in Sauk County. Can you give us a little history of that and how a farm the size of your family's fits into the bigger picture?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I appreciate it because there's both beauty and pain that comes with living so close to the land. So I love it when people ask about my family because I don't want people to think this is all alarmism. It's serious issues going on, but there's also a lot of really personal meaning. So our family farm started in 1912 when my great-grandpa fled and escaped pre-World War I Europe. He had been in the military. He didn't want to fight in World War I. The ramp-up was happening. My great-grandma did the same thing. They settled in the rolling hills of the driftless area of southern Wisconsin trying to make a better life. They survived years of subsistence farming, turned the page toward my grandpa, who was the eldest son, who grew up and survived the Depression and managed to climb into the middle class. My dad took over from my grandpa in the 70s, ended up surviving the farm crisis. And then my sister and I grew up on the farm in the 90s and 2000s as we saw middle-class livings beginning to really slip away. And so every generation has lived this economic upheaval, every generation in our family has also lived this unique, amazing way of life that feeds the country, but also has a lot of meaning for all of us.
So you just kind of, it's funny how your family fits into the actual turning points, it sounds like, for farming in history. And so how much research did you do, or how much did you actually already know because your family had lived with it or lived through it when it came to the kind of historical plot points, as it may, of American farming?
This is what really shocked me, because I grew up knowing our way of life was disappearing, and I grew up hearing some of the stories and some of the things that happened in our family's history and things like that. But I really had kind of dribs and drabs, bits and pieces of stories from my grandpa, my grandma, my mom, my dad, great aunts and uncles, different people who knew our family, just little things that I knew. So I started talking to all those people. I was fortunate to have hours of interviews that I got to do with every generation of our family going back to the beginning, other than my great-grandparents. And that was really, really valuable to me. And I began to tie it to what was going on in our country throughout the course of the past century. And what I tried to do is I tried to find an unknown story, a hidden history beneath the surface of every single era. So I'll give you an example. In the Great Depression, everybody knows the Great Depression rocked the entire country. What a lot of people don't realize, what I didn't know until I looked into this, there was actually an agricultural depression that began a decade earlier. And in the Midwest, there was actually massive erosion issues that were going on with gullies and heavy rainfall. So when you think about the country going through the Great Depression and the Dust Bowl, in Wisconsin and much of the Midwest, there was an agriculture depression going on a decade before that, and there was an ecological crisis bringing our food supply to its knees a decade before that. People don't know that. So I found a kind of a hidden history through almost every decade as I went forward from there. And I was able to weave that with our family story in a way that had a through line that I never could have imagined. And so many of our family stories and secrets ended up connecting with so many of the secret things that happen to people in our country. Along the way, I learned some really dramatic things. I was able to tell the story of my grandpa's little brother who, as a young 2-year-old child, was crippled in a field accident, all kinds of dramatic and terrible things. My grandpa falling off of a corn crib 30 feet and breaking his back, leaving my dad at the tender age of 8 to step up and take over. And also some really incredible, beautiful things, the way that our farm was built, the way that they climbed in the middle class, what a life like that meant for people over the years. And so I was just amazed at how much of this all tied together as I started investigating.
Well, Brian, I want to get some more of those turning points, but listening to those stories and the good and the bad, one thing that keeps popping into my mind is a kid who admittedly grew up in the city. Why would people want to do this? What is it that drives small farmers to keep going, to keep fighting day after day?
Yeah, it's not just your job, but it's your community, it's your home, it's your way of life, it's your heritage. There's a lot of pride that's wrapped up into it, and there's a lot of beauty. I mean, I can't explain what it's like to wake up early in the morning as a kid. Is it hard? Absolutely. But you wake up early in the morning, you're there with your dad when calves are born, and the calf comes out, and you see him waiting to see if it's going to take a breath, and when it does, it's one of the most beautiful things in the world. I remember hearing my dad send the cow dog out to bring the cows in from pasture with just a whistle. He'd whistle once, and the cow dog would run out and bring the cows in. We would drive over the land and see the sun setting on our hay fields as we prepared to harvest. You live it, and it just gets down into your blood and down into your bones in a way that is really hard to explain. But I think that people actually understand it some, because if you think about it, farming is not only a huge part of our economy, it's part of our culture. It's a large part of how we think about ourselves.
We're talking to Brian Reisinger and about his new book, Land Rich, Cash Poor, My Family's Hope and the Untold History of the Disappearing American Farmer. A lot of the book is history, it's personal stories from your family, but how much are you dealing with the actual public policy debates around rural issues, farms, and food? Because I feel like it's something that comes up a lot, especially in a year like this year with an election coming up. But do you dive into that as what public policy helped or hurt farmers?
Yeah, we do. So I really tried to have this be a balanced perspective. I tried to challenge people of all viewpoints, left, right, champions, critics of modern farming, everybody. As we went through this history, I found places where it feels like there's actually like a better way. We don't have to choose between these false choices, one hand or the other. I think almost everybody dislikes something about farm policy, whether it's the subsidies that are spent on things, whether it is the way that certain programs favor some farms over others, all kinds of different things. Everybody involved in, including farmers, have things they don't like about it. So what can we do? There's a number of things. One of the most promising things that I thought was really interesting was the research and development revolution that we could kick off in this country by adding accountability that some on the right would want to have, and by adding spending that some on the left would want to have to be able to get research and development in this country back to where it used to be. It's at the lowest level since the 1970s, actually, right now. And this can be a real revolution because it can lead to discovery that leads to all kinds of new crops, new market opportunities, new things that our farms can be doing. We have 2 million farms in this country still, even though we've lost 45,000 per year on average for the past century. 2 million farms left. What if all those farms, rather than being a few large farms and then many medium and small farms that don't have a way to really make money and they're kind of supplemental income on the side, what if they could be growing entrepreneurial businesses again because of new generation of crops and products that we can bring to market? So there's a lot of things we can do, but one of the big areas that I think for compromise that can be really valuable is that R&D revolution.
Is there a difficulty in getting some of these things done because a lot of politicians don't come from an agricultural background, or they just don't understand it?
Yeah, I think there's a challenge with that. The other challenge that we have is that I said that a lot of people don't like the current programs, but the current programs are there, and there's reasons for them, right? On a baseline level, there is a need for some safety net around uncontrollable factors like weather and things like that if we want to have a stable food supply. That said, beyond that, over the years, Democrats and Republicans alike have built program upon program without us really ever revolutionizing how we're doing it. Not a lot of innovating. There's a lot of piling on. And so the challenge is that it gets really complicated for how to do it. Now, we need to do it because it affects our entire food supply as discussed. But I do think that by bringing more and more people into this discussion and getting more elected officials who maybe aren't from farm states to understand what's going on and understand how what's going on, again, in rural America affects every American dinner table, I think we can begin to change that.
So like I said, we're in an election year, and with farmers you've spoken to, with understanding way more than I do when it comes to agriculture, what do you think the big voting issues are for farmers as far as beyond just like, I like this guy, I don't like this guy, or I guess girl. But as far as the priority of what impacts them the most, what issues do you think that they're looking at when deciding who they're going to vote for? And that could be at the top of the ticket or at the state level or Congress. You know, there's a lot of different things they vote for that impacts them.
Absolutely. There's kind of a macro answer, and then there's a more specific answer to farmers. The macro answer is that in many ways, farmers are focused on the things that so many other families are focused on. There's a lot of things that people from all different walks have, all kinds of different things. One of the things that's across the board is, where's the economy headed? How can I afford what I need to afford in this economy? The biggest challenge that farmers face is the fact that energy, seed, fertilizer, all of those what they call input costs have been going up year after year, and what they can make for the crops and products that they sell has either been going down or has been unstable or hasn't kept pace. Now, you can't have a magic policy that makes sure that all of those things stay in alignment, but what we can do is create more entrepreneurial opportunity for farmers and find ways to control those costs. So just like people are trying to balance their household budgets, farmers being able to find a way to be able to make sure they have the money they need to go on for the next generation is the biggest thing for all of them. Now, within that specifically, the biggest thing that comes up is the Farm Bill. It impacts all of those programs that affect farmers. And by the way, even a larger portion of it is programs that affect everybody who eats in this country. And so that's a huge policy issue, and it's almost always treated like an afterthought in Congress.
Oh, because we were supposed to have a... That is most of our conversation with Brian Reisinger, author of the book Land Rich, Cash Poor, My Family's Hope, and the Untold History of the Disappearing American Farmer. I have started it. It is excellent. I can't wait to finish it. All right. We'll see if we have time for one more after this.
A cancer diagnosis shouldn't mean we can't make plans. It shouldn't mean living without joy or optimism. Cancer shouldn't be calling the shots. At the Froedtert and the Medical College of Wisconsin Cancer Network, we're pushing to put cancer in its place by pulling together teams of leading specialists and researchers who work tirelessly for breakthroughs, who are developing innovative ways to treat every cancer, to treat your cancer. And by providing the largest cancer clinical trials treatment program in Wisconsin, so there are more treatment options and more reasons to be hopeful. So let's keep innovating. Let's keep discovering. Let's push to make every cancer diagnosis a story of survivorship and bring back the lightness of life that cancer takes away. To learn more about breakthrough cancer care, visit Froedtert.com/cancer.
Driving under the influence of marijuana is illegal, and a law enforcement officer can tell if you're driving high. If you feel different, you drive different. Drive high, get a DUI. Paid for by NHTSA.
I've always believed that great service makes all the difference. At Waterstone Bank,
it's more than just banking. It's personal. When I needed help choosing an account, my banker took the time to understand my needs and guided me through my options. Thanks to her advice, I can watch my money grow, knowing it's secure.
Welcome to your Waterstone Bank, where community and personal service come together. Member FDIC.
The Word became flesh and made his dwelling among us. God's promise is fulfilled. Archbishop Listecki here. God has seen fit to bless us with the gift of his Son. Emmanuel, God is with us. This is an incredible gift of God's love for us. But like all gifts, it needs to be opened and shared. Through his Son, we are joined together as one family in the common bond of God's love. Blessings to all for a Merry Christmas. Join us at Mass.
I believe it's time for me to fly.
Well, not quite yet. We got a couple minutes left, but not long enough. I had pulled one more interview that I wanted to play, even though I wasn't actually there when we did this interview. So back in May, Brian and Steve Scafidi interviewed Paula Schwerdfiger. Did I pronounce that right? Do you remember? Rhea doesn't remember. But she lives in Wapaka, and she is a competitive horseshoe pitcher, despite having a genetic disease that caused blindness. So she is blind, but she is a competitive horseshoe pitcher. And it was a great interview. I remember listening back to it, and I wanted to replay it because we got this email from Paula this week. And she said, not sure if I'm sending the email to the correct person, but I did an interview on expanding Wisconsin, expanding the state, close enough, on this radio station. She's like, I thought you might be interested in knowing that I won second place at state in my class. This time I had no help with radios or a spotter. Sometimes you do what's important to you no matter what happens. She finished by saying, I listened to the broadcast again and thought it was funny and how much fun I had talking about it. And then realizing that sometimes we don't have help. So I wanted to give you a follow-up. So have a great holiday season. Paula, the Rebel Ringer. So I thought that was a very fun follow-up from Paula after a very fun interview, but maybe we'll find a reason to play it in our end of the year show when we do it next week. But this has been fun. It's been fun to review. It's always when you are in the content game of whether it's be radio shows and podcasts or social media videos or anything that is creative, it is always an interesting exercise to go back and listen or watch or read things that you made earlier. And it is not always a comfortable exercise because you can hear the things that you would have done differently had you done it today. I remember the first time I started making videos on YouTube in 2017. And looking back at those videos, it's a little cringy. It's a little painful as far as, but you have to start somewhere. And that is the goal, is that for any kind of creative venture or any kind of venture at all, anything you ever want to get better at, you have to start somewhere. And so it has been fun and interesting to listen to this show as it has evolved over this year, as it continues to evolve, how we've gotten better. I've gotten better at interviewing and setting conversations up. So it's not always comfortable, but it's good to review these things. And so we will be back tomorrow. Sandy Max is going to sit in with me. We have some fun things planned, including Victor from Victor's, who, if you have spent any time in Milwaukee in the last 60 years, you probably have gone to Victor's. It is finally closing. And so we are going to talk to the man himself before their big New Year's Eve party next week. And we have some other fun things planned. So come back tomorrow on Spanning the State. Wisconsin's Afternoon News is next.
I haven't had anything to eat for days, and being hungry hurts.
Going without oil changes can destroy your engine, but it doesn't compare to the effect of going without food. That's why the Automobile Dealers Association of Metro Milwaukee is determined to make sure no one goes to bed hungry. Through March 1st, they'll donate $1 from every oil change to Feeding America Eastern Wisconsin. Every dollar provides 3 healthy meals. Over the past 14 years, Adam has donated over $890,000, providing more than 2.6 million meals to people across southeast Wisconsin, the majority being children and seniors. And with today's ongoing challenges, the need is greater than ever. So help the hungry while helping your vehicle. Get your oil changed by Adam Dealer Factory Train Techs at a price as low or lower than independent shops. Visit an Adam member dealer near you.
For a list of participating dealers, visit ADAMM.